afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Um, Trust everybody's doing well. Thank you for sharing your Saturday with us. This is our monthly product deep dive call. It's a call where we get our practitioners to come in. We get to meet them. They share about a particular product area, and then they do a high level demo. Then they answer our questions as well. Um, this call is the third Saturday of each month. We also do have a call that we have. It's the Q&A session, or ask and answer, which is what it is. So here we get our practitioners to come in the first Saturday of each month. We get to meet them, right? They give us their candid advice about topics, technology, especially service now, and then they go to answer our questions as well. All of these are done via WebEx. WebEx online. The recordings will come through. We'll share, we'll share contacts of our practitioners, and then we'll share the recordings as well as details or resources that can help us too. FYI, ServiceNow certificate maintenance program, it's supposed to be due, but due to the fact that the exams for Xanadu are only going to be available in January, that's why there is no charge for certificate maintenance this year. It's going to be beginning in January. So January 15, that will kick off. Once you pay that certificate maintenance, which is $200 or 200 learning credits, depending on which you choose, then you would go ahead and write your Delta exams then as well. So the certificate maintenance is for every ServiceNow certified practitioner that has been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for a year plus. So you're certified, your certificate is a year old or a year and older, then you're entitled to make that certificate maintenance payment and then maintain that. Delta windows, normally it's every end of the year now, which is once a year. So pretty much, since it's not going to be that we'll have one for this year, more than likely it's going to be for January. But ideally, normally this would be the windows for Deltas. Also, there would be MVP information coming through, for February. Pretty much this will be our last session, considering that the next one should be during the holidays for next month. So, just as an FYI, we wouldn't have any during the holiday time. What's going to happen is, we'll reconvene in January again, right pretty much after the holiday or in February, because I know for the most part, January, everybody's kind of like coming in to try and get, situated, especially with the new year 2025. So just as an FYI. So today we have, our practitioner, Yomi Abayomi Lawal. Yomi Lawal is coming here to speak to us about knowledge management. So I know he had issues before, but thank God the connection is working now. I know he's also a little bit pressed for time too. Yomi, the floor is yours. Over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Thanks for having me on Maker. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Apologies. I was having some internet connections earlier on, something with my audio, but I'm glad to be here. Once again, thanks for having me, Emeka. And just like Emeka said, my name is Abayomi Lawal, and Yomi for short. So today, the subject topic or the application we're going to be talking about is going to be on knowledge application. If it's okay, if you permit me, Mexi, I can just go ahead to start sharing my screen, if that's okay.
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah, that should be. Everybody
Oh, okay.
Should be able to share. Mhm.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
And do you see the PowerPoint slide? Is that what you see right now?
No, we see the instance. We see the PDI. Yes.
Oh,
So more than likely you're sharing the window.
no,
You can
most
share
likely.
the yeah. This.
And now?
Yeah, we're yet to see it. Once you're sharing and then you're sharing the whole screen, we should be fine.
And
But if
that's
you're
what
sharing,
it's not letting me share the whole screen. I
Okay.
don't know. Do you have any settings on your end?
no, you should be able to. So if once you click on the share screen,
Letting you out like this.
then you click on share, it should allow you. You should be able to.
Yeah, exactly. But
That's all right.
I have the entire screen tab
Who's the hairdresser?
clicked on. I'm sure. Okay, let me just cancel that.
Yeah, let's see what you have. It should allow you. Once you click on your share content, and then it should already be on the screen. You can make that selection if it's not already highlighted. It should pop up, yes. Once you click on the share to the far right.
Trendy, young and trendy.
Uh,
No. That's impossible.
It's allowing me to share the windows and the tabs, but it's not allowing me to share the entire screen. So
Not a problem. It depends on your device. It's your device setting. Not but if you like, so what you can do would be, what tab do you have what tab do you have? You can share the tab that you have this thing. So what do you have? So let's do this. Let me do this. Let's see.
let me just close this. Let me see.
Depending on the tab you have, if it's on it should already be there. So once you click the share and then it pops
Exactly.
up, right? Then you see the screen already, it should be highlighted. And then you should see far right to share, right? If not, it should tell you file or entire screen or tab, whichever.
Yes, I get those options, but it's just that it's not letting me.
So once you click on it, what does it tell you though?
So I have so I can share it's not even letting me click on any right now.
Right. It should allow you. So what I mean is you're using your what's it called? It's not your company device now. It's your private device, right?
Correct.
Right. So when you click on the share, what are the options you have?
I have the Microsoft Edge tab. I
Okay,
have the
you're using
Windows tab. I
right.
have the entire screen.
So when you select
And
the
when I
entire
click on
screen,
it,
right? If you go to
and
the
when I
entire
click on
screen,
it and I click share.
no, did you? Now we have you. Yeah, now we have you. Yes, we should. Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
we have you now. Correct. That's all.
Um,
Mhm.
do you see my screen now? Do you see PowerPoint slide?
Yes, we do. That's it.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm not so sure what the issue was, but I'm glad we were able to fix that. So once again, thanks for having me. Um, so my name is Abayomi Lawal, Yomi for short. I'm a product owner, proponent of ServiceNow. I love to travel, meet up with friends and families, relax with some good music, and re-energize, taking part in some kind of sports. Outside of work, I'm also a soccer coach training under the USA Soccer Federation. Easily affordable. I can be bribed with an espresso. Uh, that's about me. Summary about me. And today we'll be having a very unique discussion or one of the very key subject areas around ServiceNow. And regardless of where you find yourself within your portfolio, whether it's service management, customer management, HR like me, you would need information to be able to resolve issues, to be able to solve problems. And today's topic actually pays attention to all of that. So I'll go on to my next slide. There's a face of a lady. If that's all you can, is that what you can see on my screen?
Yes, we can
Okay.
see the lady with the computer.
Okay, nice. So, the face you see on my screen actually depicts the smile that you get when you look at your screen, and then you find out that the information that you need is readily available to you. And this is one of the values of today's topic, knowledge management. So as an agent or as a customer or as an end user or as a team member, I want you to play this scenario in your head where you have a task before yourself and the answers or the information needed to resolve that problem is readily available to you. You're able to find it, you're able to leverage that information to solve that problem or work on a certain case. This is the kind of smile that you will have on your face because you're excited that you have the information that you need. So today's topic actually details all of that. And today's topic is named knowledge management. Knowledge management is one of the very key areas, like I mentioned, in ServiceNow. And it's been around for a very long time. In fact, the ServiceNow knowledge management comes as part of the ITSM suite. But before we get into that, the term knowledge management has been in existence since the early 90s. And thought leaders, practitioners who have been in areas of management and consulting decided to coin this term. And the whole idea behind it was to help end users be able to resolve problems or tasks that they might find themselves. Without going into too much, I don't want to overwhelm you with so much information, but we'll go to today's topic. In today's topic, we'll take a very good look at an overview of what knowledge management is, which we already started already. Some of the knowledge management features, what to consider when you're building knowledge bases or you're in the space of building knowledge management, roles in knowledge management, the tables, the underlying tables in knowledge management, a review of workflows. We'll also talk about other plugins, and then we'll have an end-to-end experience of creating content or articles around knowledge management. I'll also welcome questions because I'd like to get some feedbacks from the team. Please feel free to time in. Feel free to, if at any point you want to ask me questions before we go into depth, please feel free. If you're able to see my slides, if you want me to explain some of the things I have on my slide, or you want me to take some time and go back into anything I have said, please feel free to stop me at any point in time. If you want to also use the chat, that will be fine. So make sure if you want to pay some attention to some questions on the chat, please let me know just in case anything comes in. Are we good on that one?
Oh, sure. The only question we have is from Gay. Gay was saying partner account. So if he wants to, provide us some clarity on that, that would be fine.
No. That was when we were talking about the.
Okay, having the issues. Okay.
No.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm checking it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, like I said, let's take an overview of knowledge management today. Like I said, the term was actually coined in the early towards the mid 90s. And one of those early concepts or one of those definitions of knowledge management was by Davenport. And he sees it as a process of capturing, distributing, and effectively using knowledge. You'll probably take note that he used the same word in the description of the concept that we're talking about today. However, if we decide to elaborate on what that actually means, we could consider it to be a repository where a lot of informations are being held. In this case, you might want to call them accessible. You might want to call them articles, and how accessible it is to users. Within the ServiceNow application, we have the ServiceNow Knowledge Management, which is one of the packages that comes with the ITSM suite, straight out of the box. It enables you to share knowledge articles that provide users with information for self-help, troubleshooting, and then as well as task resolutions. Especially with the advent of COVID, a lot of people have come to realize that self-service is a very important part of work, and it fulfills the request of making sure that agents, customers, or even practitioners in different domains are able to leverage on information to be able to complete their task. Now, think about it, like I said earlier on, if you're working on a case or you get a ticket, and on looking at that ticket, you'll have the information that you need to be able to resolve that problem. You'll probably get that same smile that I had, that the lady had in my earlier slide. Or your team member, you're trying to find information about some of the benefits that are available to you. You're able to leverage the self-service to get such informations. However, those informations need to be created. There needs to be an architecture behind it that's going to be able to allow customers or team members or any end user get such information. And that takes us to ServiceNow Knowledge Management. The application has been designed having the right architecture that would allow end users, regardless of their portfolio, to be able to leverage informations that would help them deliver on their work efficiently and effectively. I'll go on to my next slide. So, like I said, feel free to stop me at every point in time. We'll get an opportunity to also look at the ServiceNow application, and some of these things as we start talking about them will become clearer. What you see on my screen right now, pardon me, my apologies, I called the KM features, but I actually meant knowledge management features. This is basically more of an architecture of what to expect when you're creating a content within knowledge management. It could be broken down, but these are basically what to look out for. You have the knowledge base, which serves as that container that holds all of the articles, and it's at the very top of the architecture from a hierarchical structure. You have knowledge categories that helps give some kind of organization to all the knowledge bases. So what I'm saying is you can have multiple categories within one knowledge base. However, you can only have one knowledge base within a certain category. If you further want to break it down, we'll now look at the contents where the articles are being created, which is a sub of the knowledge categories. Not a subcategory, but in terms of the hierarchical structure of how knowledge management is being created, it's actually at the very bottom. We'll get a chance to have an end-to-end experience of how some of these contents are being created and how articles are being created. We'll look at the knowledge base, and maybe just to pause for a minute so you can take a look and see what I'm talking about. Let me pull up my instance. I have too many of them, so pardon me. At the very, can you all see my PDI? Is everybody able to see my instance?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Um, so if you have, I think this is the Washington instance. It might look a little bit different. You might have a different UI depending on what version that you have. But at the very at the filter navigator on the left side of your screen, you will see a filter there. If you type in knowledge, there's a self-service model. It's called knowledge. I have the word KNOW, and you'll see there's a self-service on the left-hand side that says knowledge. So if you have one on your end, you can actually look into it. And like I said, we're going to take a look at each of those. What you see on my screen, and I'm going to try and show all. It looks like we have 5 knowledge bases in here, and it actually tells you here. It actually tells you that we have 5 knowledge bases in here, containing a total of 62 articles. Within the HR general knowledge base, you have 30, and for the UK, I think it's 0. For the US, I think it's another 0, IT 32. So basically, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the knowledge base, that container that holds all the articles. And we could just go into one of them, as you can see right here. And it depends on the version that you have. These are all the articles that are contained right here. There's a contextual search at the very top that allows you to look for anything. There's acronyms you can just put in. You can type anything in there that you're looking for based on, let me see if I can find anything, maybe Outlook. Okay, let's just take what we have here. This one says employee, so let's just find employee. Um, 25 results pulled up. Employees, you can filter by the different categories or whatever, you can find that information. So just to give you a glimpse, like I said, we'll build our own knowledge base. But I just wanted you to have a glimpse of what I was talking about. So if it's okay, I go back to the slides. The knowledge categories, are you able to see the slide now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So the knowledge categories gives you some kind of organization around the knowledge base or the articles that you're looking for. One of the key things to consider when you're building out your knowledge content is findability. You want to make sure that your users or your end users, team members or agents that are working on certain tickets or on cases are able to find the informations at ease. And one of the things that knowledge categories does for you is to help you organize your articles or your contents. Any questions about that? We'll also take a look at what that looks like as we go into that space. Of course, you have the knowledge articles itself, which is actually the content, where all of these informations are going to be available. And onto my next slide. Remember when I was talking earlier on, I mentioned that one of the things to consider when you're building out your articles or your knowledge base or knowledge management is findability. You want to make sure that whoever the end user is, when you're talking to the business, when you're trying to build out this whole thing, you want to make sure that the end users who are going to need this information are able to find these articles wherever it is that they're being held. So that's one thing that you want to consider. You just don't want to create articles and start and they're everywhere. At some point you probably want to see knowledge base like a department. So let's take, for instance, I'm sure you've probably gone through a lot of classes with Unnaimeka, and let's say you're trying to find some of the informations that he has given you from the very onset. You can consider you building a knowledge base behind this. Your knowledge base, you can say it's a snow class. So it's going to serve as a container. So whatever, when you look at it, this is all about ServiceNow class. However, if you want to start organizing that class, you want to break it down into the different subjects that he has taught. Maybe he taught incident, maybe he taught knowledge management like we're doing today. Maybe he taught workflows, maybe he taught performance analytics and asset management. Those categories of classes, those categories of information would help you find that information easier. So you're beginning to organize the way things are. You're creating structure around data. We'll also talk about permissions in terms of access, who can create, who can write, who can contribute, who can update. These are the things that you want to talk about too also. You want to make sure that the information that you're putting out there, it's validated. You have the people that have permissions to create this information are the right set of people. So you're talking about the roles and you're assigning it to their responsibilities. And like you might have taken note that the digital transformation within the Now platform is driven by a lot of workflows. So you want to talk about approvals. How do you get the content out there? Are you okay? And it depends on the organizations that you work. Some people want, I think out of the box, we have about 4 of them. Would also take a look at that. Just making sure that while I'm talking, I'm also showing you. Let's go to, let's find the workflow editor. Can you see my screen?
Yes, okay.
If you take a look at this, there's a couple of workflows that we have for knowledge. You have the approval publish, you have the approval retire, you have the instant publish, meaning that approvals are not needed, and you have the instant retire. We're going to take a look at all of this also as we go through the process. And depending on your organizations, right, you can customize some of these workflows. It doesn't have to be out of the box. As you help your businesses streamline their processes, that's a whole different topic, workflows actually, but as you help your businesses streamline their processes, you want to understand the level of approvals that are going to be needed, if there's going to be any, who are the domain experts that are going to be publishing these articles. So these are some of the things that you probably want to think about as you deliver some of the contents to your end users. Remember I spoke about permissions, right? These are the different roles, and there's a lot of them. I don't know if I missed out on any, but you can always go into the sysuser_role.list, the list command, and we can actually take a look. But as you pick up different responsibilities within the organization, especially around knowledge management, you have this knowledge rules that allows you to write, edit, and review knowledge management articles. You have the knowledge admin, the man who's able to do everything and create, configure, and do all of that. For quality improvements, you have the knowledge coach. You have the domain expert, which I spoke about earlier on. And as you some of these roles are basically not available out of the box. There's an advanced plugin, so you might have to do that and then insert those plugins to have some of this, depending on the licenses that you have. But from a permission standpoint, roles are actually tied to are tied to responsibilities, and we'll look at that as we go into as we have that end-to-end experience of how articles are being created. There's 3 key responsibilities, and of course, there's multiple roles like I showed you earlier on when it comes to knowledge management. The administrator, who's able to configure, create, and do all sorts within the system. The knowledge manager, who coordinates the day-to-day knowledge management process and activities. And of course, the user, who is the one that's actually leveraging these contents. Like I said, as you get assigned those roles and responsibilities, there's author, there's the contributor, there's the coach, there's the domain expert. And of course, with the knowledge advanced application, you should be able to get the knowledge group manager, depending on how you want to streamline processes across your organization. The kind of issues that's going on and how you want to help them would help you determine how you can leverage some of these tools and to help them improve how knowledge is being leveraged in your organization. We'll talk about the knowledge management process. It's a very strict one that can be customized, like I mentioned earlier. When articles are created, obviously they might be submitted for review if there's an approval process. Once validated, it's published. And if not, it goes back to a state of draft, which is more like when the article has been created. You also see them get retired when they're no longer valid or they've been updated. So, this is more like a very straightforward, at a very high level, what the knowledge management process basically looks like. Are we still here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. We'll talk about the knowledge. I told you that we'll talk about an overview just at a very high level. What you see that is depicted on my screen, it's more of a workflow in terms of how knowledge management it's being created. Some of those workflows I'll show you out of the box. I did just show you the ones that came out of the box now, but we'll see something like this also depending on how which of the workflows that we would like to leverage. You will find this. Let me just show you something quickly before I move on. Under administration, you can find the knowledge base. So we'll go under administration to find the knowledge base. I'm not so sure if I missed it already.
No, it's there under knowledge. Knowledge administration. You would see knowledge bases.
Yeah. So if you look at this one, and I think I may have the knowledge management advanced. Okay. So if you look at this straight out of the box, the knowledge base basically comes as a title. These are the different fields that are basically available. It comes as a title. You're able to, it's more a string field, the validity of how long. If you want some feedback management in terms of how you want to manage, you want to see the value that's been created, you can allow for commenting on those articles, also suggesting, editing, you want to rate the views, and when people look at the content that's being put out there, you want to get some feedback in terms of the rating. But so we don't deviate from what I was talking about. I was talking about the workflows, right? So if you look at this, when you create your knowledge base, one of the mandatory fields is how do you want this workflow to be published? Right here is this one says instant publish. So if you come here, on the related list, you'll be able to see that. So hold on, before I go in there, it's knowledge instant publish is on the global application scope, and we'll go straight right in here to open that record. So the table is a KB underscore knowledge table. The KB underscore knowledge table actually holds the knowledge base. So you'll probably see that as you move forward. Just trying to understand, I think I have a slide there that talks about the underlying tables within knowledge application. So the KB underscore knowledge, take note, is the table that houses the knowledge base. And I'll show you what that workflow looks like. What you see right here is what I was talking about when I talked about the knowledge workflow. At the very initial state, it's in a state of draft. And this particular workflow requires no approval. it's an instant publish. You're able to just go ahead and publish this article without trying to get any approvals. If you have the right access, and if not, it just comes to an end. So I'll go back straight to my PowerPoint slide, and I'll go straight to the next slide, which is the knowledge management tables. Remember, I spoke about the tables in the underlying tables within ServiceNow when it comes to knowledge management. The knowledge base table, and if you remember your list commands, you can come right here and you can that system definitions, or if you know the commands, you can just go in there and type them. So right here, it tells you what table it is. And in this particular instance, you can see that we have 88 articles that are available. Some of them are general topics. You can actually look down the workflows. This one is actually published, but it tells you the different states of the workflow when it's being reviewed. That you can see it was skipped in this case. It was skipped in this case, and this one is actually, the workflow shows that this particular article is being published. This is for knowledge articles. That's the knowledge table. It contains all the articles that are in the system. If you want to take a look at the this is the knowledge base table. We're going to create our own knowledge base. So when you create that knowledge base, this is where it sits. Like you may already know already, the tables are a system of records. So this is where the records, when it comes to knowledge bases, are being kept. And like I told you earlier on, there's an architecture or structure, basic structure of how it's being created. It's a knowledge base. If you want to organize it, there's the knowledge, there's the categories, and of course, there's the content itself in the form of an article. Also, if you wanna think, if I remember that. Yeah, all the categories that we have in the system currently. So something I forgot to mention also is that, which we will see as we create our own articles. If you remember when I spoke about, let me just go back into my slide, please permit me. When I spoke about my slide, when I spoke about this architecture, in every knowledge base, you can only have one knowledge base for each of the categories. However, there's a hierarchical structure that allows you to create subcategories. So in this situation, you can have a parent-child relationship, meaning that if you create a subcategory, the parent ID will be the category, the knowledge category field. However, if there are no subcategories, the category that was created would be the parent-child, or the parent ID would be the knowledge base. And we'll create something like that just to have an idea of what I'm talking about. Let me go back. I think I was here. I was talking about the knowledge base tables. There's other plugins that are available for knowledge management. You have the knowledge management advanced installer. This will give you access to user knowledge blocks, knowledge templates. You have the predictive intelligence. will help you see things like suggested duplicates and search for duplicates. You have the knowledge document application. It's another important one to also, as you create documents to allow for governance and versioning of your articles. We'll also talk about knowledge versions. I think for the advanced feature, we have for the knowledge management advanced, we have the versioning that allows you to govern how those articles are being created. We have the wiki support as part of the attachment types. Of course, you have performance analytics. You always want to see, get feedbacks and report on some of the knowledge articles that you have within the system. Like you may have seen already while I was opening the knowledge management applications, these are some of the modules out of the box. And you have the self-service, you have, which has the knowledge itself and the knowledge articles. I think this particular one that I have is actually the advanced one, but we'll take a look at the baseline and maybe just show some knowledge management advanced plugins too also. So from a slide perspective, that's basically it. So we'll start today by creating some articles, and just to give us that end-to-end user end-to-end experience. So if it's okay, we would use maybe this class as a use case, just to give us some understanding of what this looks like. So under HR, I'm sorry, I'm an HR person. I've always said HR administration. I started as an end user myself before transitioning to the back end to support HR services. But under administration in knowledge, you're able to find the knowledge base right here. And if you're to create all of this are true right now, if you're to go ahead and create our own knowledge base, there's a new button, a UI action button right here that you can click on. There's different ways to go about creating articles, but because we want to go from an architecture standpoint, we will probably start from the very top, right? Let's take today use case. It's ServiceNow class. So let's create a knowledge base because we're trying to organize as a snow class. Allow me to use that. This is a mandatory field. Let's find another mandatory field. Let's just say system administrator. He's the owner of this knowledge base. And let's do an instant publish. We'll take an instant publish whereby we don't need no approvals. At this point, we'll make it active. And then let's go ahead and submit this knowledge base, or just click on save depending on whatever you want. You will take note that at the very bottom, by submitting that, it created a related link or tabs or related list, whatever you want to call it. And it allows us to see the different articles that are that would be under this knowledge base. So at this point, we haven't created any articles. We haven't done anything yet. But let's go ahead. We have the can read. We'll talk about that too, which is actually tied to user criteria. The contribute, the cannot read, the cannot contribute, featured contents, which you will probably see. Let me duplicate this page and you probably see.
Yeah, then just as an FYI, the knowledge owner, as well as the knowledge manager. So the knowledge owner is pretty much going to be getting the knowledge manager role, as well as that knowledge manager as well. So because let's say they don't have the role already, but once you're including them there, they automatically will inherit that role. It's very important because without that, they cannot perform the right actions. Well, great stuff. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for adding that, Megzi. So I'll just go straight into one of the knowledge articles that we have on the system. This is probably what an end user would see from an end user's perspective. Take note, the reason why I have some buttons right here. I'm a system admin, and we'll probably impersonate somebody else just to see what their view would look like. You would see this is what it will look like. You're able to do the ratings. You're able to make some comments as well. You're able to make some comments as well. And my view might be a little bit different because I have a system admin role, but we can impersonate somebody else and just try to see what that looks like. I think Abel Tuta is an architect, but let's see what it looks like.
So impersonation allows you to look at the instance in somebody else's view. So you're actually able to see things different. So you're able to use that for testing, helpful. You're able to go into the system having that same look and feel of view as maybe a requester or or a submitter, and then that way you can see what they are, you can validate, especially if you've made changes based on their requirements or requests. But that's just what impersonation is, and it comes with a color code to let us know. You would see an eye icon by the user avatar or image, and then you would see the red color coding too as well on all the way on the banner. You would see that too, yes.
Thanks for adding that in, Maxi. So if you take a look at this dude, Abel Tutor, and compare him to the system admin, I think if you remember vividly, the system admin had about 5 or 6 knowledge bases that were available to him. And here, this guy has just 3 that's available to him at this time. Remember I talked about featured content and some of these other most viewed that you're able to see. These are just a couple of things that are in additions, but you can tell that this view is a little bit because of his role, he doesn't have access to all of it as compared to the system admin who had about 5 different knowledge bases. And if you look at the articles right here, he's also able to post a comment right here for feedback or quality improvement, whereby whoever the admin is or the owner of the article can actually review that and see how the articles are doing. Basically, depending on what side that you are, if you're on the product, if you're on the business side of things, or you're on the IT side of things, when the business comes to you and tells you, okay, you could or you're trying to see what's going on, you're just putting a new policy out there in the form of knowledge, or you're saying for overtime there's going to be a raise, and then a lot of people are going in there to view those that knowledge. It's getting us some star ratings because it sounds like something that everybody wants to hear. Those are kind of feedback that you want to you also want to look at, maybe from the business side of things. But if they're coming to you and they're saying, okay, how can we easily get feedbacks? How can we easily understand? These are some of the fields that I pointed out on the knowledge base, whereby you can leave those checkboxes to suggest comments and all of that, so you can get feedbacks on the articles that are being published. So I'll go back to the sysadmin role. I just wanted you guys to have a glimpse of that. So we'll go ahead and try to organize this. So we have the snow class. Let's go ahead and organize this, give it some kind of organization. So I'm sure you've done a few classes. So let's put this as ITSM class. I'll go ahead and submit. I think because I changed that, let's go back to I'm in the wrong place.
And clear the filter. If you can clear the filter, I'll click on all. You should be fine. It should be the same thing.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, sounds good.
So remember I said we're trying to give it some organization, right? The class, we have an ITSM class, probably one of the classes that Unameka must have taken in the past. And at this point, we can also create a subflow here. Remember I said for categories, you probably we can create subcategories. So we'll go ahead and open this one. Let's create a new one, and you can see it automatically inherited the parent of the ITSM class. And we'll go back and see what the ITSM class parent is. So let's say for this one, he spoke about incident. So if you take a look at this, first of all, let me open this one. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see the hierarchy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So on this one, the parent ID, as you can see, is the knowledge base Snow class. So it's taking its parent ID from the knowledge base. But let's further go down. It's taking its parent ID from the knowledge category ITSM class. So what this basically means is that for categories, you're able to create subcategories, and within the parent category field, the subcategory takes is the child field, and the subcategory, the category itself takes the parent ID. And then the category that's been created under the knowledge base acts as the parent to that category that's been created within the knowledge base. Some of these things will get clear to you as you take requirements from your businesses and try to help them develop their knowledge management structure. So this is the way you can help them break some of those or create some kind of organization within some of the contents that they're trying to put out there for their audience. Any questions at this time? Do we need to take a pause?
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay.
Just,
I don't want to get you overwhelmed. You know, I'm trying to break it down as simple as I can.
right.
So,
Knowledge management is a big thing. The thing is you're doing your utmost, which is very great, being very granular, putting it out there for what they should expect, because it's all in the architecture and then getting you down to the hierarchies, starting from the top, which is the base, that, grouping. I mean, if you take a look at it, because it's like you looking at, going to a library, for example, or even going to a store, the same thing, whether you go to Amazon or HEB, these are all grouping. There's one, the bucket, or or the house, or the full container. Then inside is a subset, just to try to make it easy for you to access it. So easy accessibility and findability. You talk about ways to be able to get in and out really fast. Self-serve, whether it's frequently asked questions or how-to guides or templates or checklists or strategies, different ways. But the whole idea is to make sure it's well organized, right? It's well organized. That's the key. Great stuff.
Okay, so let's go ahead and create an article, the content itself. So if you look on this, something I failed to also mention is there's a prefix to the article numbers that are created, which is the KB, and this is automatically generated. The numbers are automatically generated. Take note, there's a unique identifier in the form of a sys ID for every record that it's in the system. So one of the things, as you can see here, is a mandatory field called short description. So you want to make sure that there's some keywords or terms that you want to describe so that when your end user goes in there to look for those informations, they're able to find it. So let's just put this as ITSM class or something, just for the purpose of this demo, right? And then we just copy that into the body of the article, which is driven by an HTML. I'll go ahead and submit this. So this has been submitted, right? But the end user, so the end user at this point is not able to see this. Reason being that at this point, if you take a look at this, it's still in a state of draft. So let's say Yomi goes in and is trying to get information about the ITSM class. He's not going to be able to see this, but because I'm the sysadmin person, I'm able to see everything. So obviously I might be able to see it, but the end user, who is the audience that you're targeting, is not able to see this article at this point. And we can actually test that out. We'll just take this one out. Let's copy this. I'll duplicate that page. Let's try it. There's a KB portal, there's a short whereby you can just come in as type /K, and that's also a shortcut to you having access to the portal view instead of going through all that on the console page. And we'll put in that article number that we just copied. It tells you 0 results for this, right?
Right.
Because at this point,
He can't
it's
even
not
see
being.
it. He can't even see the knowledge base. That's the point.
It can't even. Okay.
So you can't.
Go ahead, please.
You can't do it. You can't see the knowledge base. You can't.
Exactly. So let's go back and let's end impersonation right here. Okay, so I have the system admin role, so I hope that works. But sometimes you might have to refresh because so once again, I'm going to go down under the knowledge base, under the human resource administration. Like I told you, there are shortcuts to it. That's depending on how you want to go about it. But so we'll go back to the snow class. At this point, like I mentioned, let's go ahead and publish this article right now as a sysadmin. We'll go ahead and publish this article now. And now this article has been published. You can tell from the workflow how it has moved from a state of draft to a state of publish. And right here, let's view this article here. You can tell that there's been a change in what that view looks like. We can leave a comment and just say test demo. Let's rate it as 3 or 4 whatsoever, or we can even flag the article and say, oh, it does not meet the purpose. And ask you why. So let's talk about also, and I'm running out of time, but let's talk about user criteria, right? User criteria is that tool within, and they have it in catalog management too also. It's that tool within knowledge that helps you target the right audience in terms of who can read, who can contribute, and who should be able to see the different articles that you, or the different contents that you plan to actually publish. Let's take a look at what this actually looks like. So we'll create one quickly and see if we can tie it to one of those articles. What this basically means is we want to be able to manage the audience in terms of the kind of contents that we're putting out there. So let's say, for instance, you're working in a US location, or you're working in a Canada location, or and you want to be able to tie this, or you want certain users to be able to view such information, just to not create any contradiction within the organization, because someone can say, oh, this actually works. I saw this policy, or I saw this article, but this article is not relevant to where you work. It's maybe relevant to HR, it's not relevant to asset management. So you want to be able to target the right audience. Out of the box, let's just... And take note, all of this is just for the demo purpose. Let's find a user. Was that Abel? Just look for anything within the system. Abel tutor, right? Right. We'll submit one here, and let's go back to knowledge. I'm not so sure if I made that active. Or was that no? I don't want to move too fast. Let me pause right here. Do we understand what I'm trying to do here? Give me a thumbs up if it's a yes.
It's a yes, though.
Okay, it's a yes. Okay.
You're trying to give access to the knowledge base. You can either give it directly to the user, you can give it to groups, you can give it to a company location. You can tie it down. It's all there in the user criteria record. You can either match it using advanced, which will be combination, or choices, or you can match it all, where that's as strict as you can get, where the user must have all of that criteria, but to ensure security for them to see or not see, depending on where you want to put it here. Great stuff.
Yeah. So what we've done here is to add a criteria to this particular knowledge base. You always want to define it at the knowledge base. Of course, there's customizations that can allow you to do it on the article level, but it's better defined at the knowledge base. So let's go ahead and update this record. And was it Abraham Lincoln? I don't remember whose name we used. Maxie, was it Abraham or Abel? Do you remember?
It was Abel. I believe it was Abel, yes.
Oh, it was Abel, not Abraham? We can take a look at it.
Yeah, it was Abel, yeah. But we can, yeah. Once you do the demo, you see it was Abel, though.
No, not this one. I just type in user criteria. It was able. Yes, you're right, Maxi. It was able. So I'll just duplicate this page just to. So it takes us back to Able. Let's look through a self-service. That's how you can go through this. So there's 4 knowledge bases, as you can see, is available to the Snow class knowledge base that we just created. If you remember when we checked initially, Able could only see 3 knowledge bases. Now is able to see 4 knowledge bases. And one of the things that we spoke about today was the Snow class, right? Is able to see the ITSM class. And, is able to tell us, is able to see whatever it is. I think we just put ITSM 11, 16, and there was nothing really more. If it was helpful, he can tell us yes. If not, he tells us no. If he wants to read this article, is also able to do that. Like I said, at a very granular, not just going at a very high level. There's more we can go into from other knowledge management advanced. Let me see. Knowledge. I don't know if I have that here. Let me just pull in the plugins. I'm not so good with my spellings any longer. Apologies. So let's just type in knowledge. Let's see what's been installed. Put in knowledge management. Okay, knowledge management advanced. Also, it's available for you.
Yeah, take a look and see if you have installed the advanced
No,
installer.
no, I haven't. It's right here.
Okay, advanced installer. Yeah.
So if you with this, you get access to the templates. You get access to other roles like the knowledge coach, AQI for feedbacks and all of that. So as you speak to the business, right? As you speak to the business, depending on the needs of the business, and you want to help them out, you want to provide them some of the tools that are available inside of the system to help them achieve their goals. And you can take a look at this also to say, okay, you have knowledge blocks too also to say, okay, you have knowledge documents too also. You have predictive intelligence. You want to do some analytics around views and policies. And, it's just, like I said, at a very high level, basically, that is what knowledge management is all about. As you do an in-depth understanding, or you try to understand how you can help the businesses or where you find yourself further, there's always a lot to learn. You can always go in there and just take advantage of some of the applications and some of the features that are within knowledge management application. I think that's about it when it comes to knowledge management. Any questions? Any questions for me?
I don't see any questions there. The only thing I wanted to add to that is like for knowledge management, knowledge is really helpful for organizations to remember that every day your stakeholders engage with your resources, whether it's your processes or whether it's your your catalog where they engage and all of that. But knowledge is the feedback that you have, right? So that you use to curate to help them, within that information, with those data, you try to make sense of it. So you group them, they become information, and then you group those information, they become knowledge, and then when that knowledge is applied consistently, they become wisdom, because that way, that's where you're trying to get to. So you're trying to make sure that your stakeholders, you have that right information that you provide to them. That information, they're going to be consistently using it. That information, you cannot go wrong with it, because it's a huge one. It's very important. So Yomi, did justice to it. Like we always say, knowledge advanced installer gives you the advanced knowledge management capability. That advanced installer is what needs to be actually the plugin that needs to be run. If you do that, it provides you with the knowledge advanced features, like the knowledge owning group, where you have those, your SMEs. You have those, you have the templates, you have the article quality, there's AQI, you have a host of others, and then there's also the knowledge for predictive intelligence that helps with that. On a high level, the criteria helps to it. The access, your users, you can be as strict, or you can, be granular, giving individuals or giving their groups, and, as the case may be. But Yomi also talked about it. He did a manual creation of the article. That article, remember, that's something that can also be imported. That capability is there too. You could import them. Maybe if you already have, a web development system, or so that way you can, for the authoring, you can bring that, so that you can have version 1, version 2, version 3 up until, because you're able to retire, update based on the feedback you get, whether your users are commenting, or they're using a thumbs up or whatever, or flagging them, especially when it's not helpful. That feedback is very important. So great stuff. Knowledge is really huge like that. So very, very, very much so. But if you do have any other questions, let us know. We want to, Yomi had to drop. The recording will be out in a couple of minutes. We would be sending out Yomi's contacts. Feel free, connect with him. Reach out, whether, search for him LinkedIn, as well as, connect with him via his, phone or email. That way we can, keep growing the community. This holiday season is coming through. Happy holidays. This is the last session for the year. But you always have my contact details. Reach out if you, or ask a question. The community will do well to answer them and provide you any guidance or feedback you need. Before there are any other questions, we want to thank everyone for joining. We do appreciate you, and then enjoy the rest of your weekend, and then happy Thanksgiving and the holiday seasons to come. Bye-bye.